William IV had had a quiet reign, and at his death in 1837 he was succeeded by his niece, Victoria, the granddaughter of George III. She was the last queen of the Hanoverian line and reigned for 64 years, starting in 1837 at the age of 18. She was influenced by Lord Melbourne, who became her political mentor, but Victoria, as always, retained a stubborn independence and an ability to think for herself. She fell in love with the handsome Prince Albert of Saxe-Coburg and Gotha in Germany, and they were married in 1840, soon after her coronation, wearing white at her wedding, which would become a common fashion staple at weddings. Her husband also brought the green German Christmas tree, the Tannenbaum, to England, which also became very popular. Albert and Victoria were indeed a happy love story, and they had 9 children together and 46 grandchildren, many of whom Victoria would see live well to adulthood. However, Albert would not. He died in 1861 at the age of 42 from typhoid fever at a very young age, devastating his wife, who retreated into seclusion and depression for many years wearing black, until the British Prime Minister at the time, Benjamin Disraeli, in the 1870s, brought her out of her seclusion and made her a staple and symbol. Disraeli believed that the Queen's purpose was not so much to reign over her people, as she was clearly a figurehead and Parliament had all the power, but to unite the empire. Indeed, at this time, the British Empire grew to its greatest height, attracting huge amounts of land in Asia, incorporating India into its empire, taking over Australia, as well as many parts of Africa. This was also the era of the Industrial Revolution, and Britain, who had been at the forefront of that, became one of the richest and most powerful countries in the world, both due to their technological advances and from their extractive economies of their colonials. Victoria became the symbol of British imperialism and British nationalism, and indeed, the entire age of her reign became known as the Victorian Age, one of pomp and circumstance, purity, tradition, and good custom. By the end of her life, she was seen as the grandmother of Europe, as many of her children and grandchildren married prominent, important royals throughout all of the continents. By the time of her death in 1901, she was beloved the world over, and mourned not just in Great Britain, but throughout the rest of the world. She was 83 and had ruled for 64 years.